living through a global crisis of trust. Banks are collapsing, inflation is eroding savings, currencies are debasing faster than ever, and governments are racing to roll out programmable central bank digital currencies. Around the world, people are realizing that the money they earn, the assets they save, and the systems they rely on are no longer built to protect them, they're built to control them. In this moment of growing uncertainty, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. When trust fails, code prevails. This is where Radiant RXD emerges, not as a cryptocurrency, but as a message. A message that we can still build systems that are fair, decentralized, and aligned with the people who use them. Radiant offers not only an alternative to the current financial order, but a framework for a better one. For decades, we've placed blind trust in banks, central banks, and institutions to act in our best interest. That trust has been rewarded with bailouts for the rich, quantitative easing that devalues wages, and surveillance-driven financial rails that limit how and when we can spend. This isn't theoretical. Entire nations have seen their currencies lose over 90% of their value. Accounts get frozen without warning, remittances get taxed, delayed, and blocked. Access to money, something that should be a basic right, is increasingly conditional. These failures aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a financial system built on permission and centralized control. Trust, once broken, cannot be the foundation for a free and open economy. Cryptocurrencies began as a response to this problem. Bitcoin introduced the idea that trust could be replaced by math, that anyone could verify transactions and enforce rules without needing a central authority. It created a permissionless ledger secured by work, not words. Radiant continues that tradition but evolves it for the next era. Where Bitcoin proved that money could be decentralized, Radiant proves that programmable finance can be as well. It's built on proof of work, it uses a stateless UTXO model, and it allows for Turing-complete smart contracts without the reliance on Ethereum's gas fees or bloated virtual machine. In Radiant, you don't have to trust anyone. You verify everything. The system works not because someone promised it would, but because the code enforces it. Radiant didn't begin in a boardroom, it didn't raise VC capital, it wasn't pre-allocated to insiders or governed by a foundation. It launched in June 2022 with zero pre-mine, zero venture funding, and zero reserved tokens. Anyone in the world could mine RXD from block 1. That kind of launch is rare in today's crypto ecosystem, and it means Radiant wasn't designed to enrich a few, but to empower many. Its monetary policy is just as transparent. With a fixed supply of 21 billion RXD and halving every 2 years, Radiant has front-loaded its distribution curve. Over 64% of RXD is already in circulation as of 2025, more than 90% will be mined by 2030. The system is built for early fairness and long-term scarcity. This isn't just about tokenomics, it's about economic justice forced by protocol. Radiant is the closest thing to Bitcoin in spirit, fair, decentralized, and resistant to manipulation. But where Bitcoin ends at simple payments, Radiant keeps going. Its smart contract system unlocks the kind of programmability that made Ethereum popular, but without inheriting its flaws. Radiant doesn't rely on global state. It doesn't need complex layer 2 solutions to scale. Its stateless deterministic scripting engine allows contracts to execute directly at layer 1 with clarity, speed, and transparency. This positions Radiant as more than just a store of value, it's a platform for value creation, a system where developers can mint tokens, create NFTs, run escrow contracts, and even build cross-chain applications, all secured by proof of work and community governance. Radiant takes the reliability of Bitcoin and the flexibility of Ethereum and merges them into a chain that can push the digital asset industry forward without compromising its roots. Where many blockchains have become extractive, charging high fees, locking features behind privileged roles, or gatekeeping access, Radiant remains focused on building useful tools. Through the Glyph protocol, users can mint fungible and non-fungible tokens directly on-chain. With the Photonic wallet, they can upload metadata to IPFS, manage token ownership, and transfer assets trustlessly. All of this happens on Layer 1 with no need for bridges or custodial layers. Radiant can even validate block headers and Merkle proofs from other proof-of-work chains. This opens the door to decentralized, trustless cross-chain trading. The Gravity protocol, still in its white paper phase, proposes using Radiant's scripting system to enable peer-to-peer swaps between chains like Bitcoin and Litecoin. No wrapping, no bridges, no middlemen. Radiant isn't waiting for permission, it's already building the foundation. In an era where central banks are testing programmable currencies and major exchanges are under scrutiny, people need tools they can rely on. Radiant offers what institutions can't: transparency, immutability, and sovereignty. This isn't about chasing hype, it's about defending the principles that made cryptocurrency matter in the first place. Radiant doesn't need advertising to be credible, it has code. It doesn't need a board to ensure its policy, it has consensus. It doesn't ask for trust, it earns it through proof. Radiant is a reminder that the values we thought were gone, fairness, openness, decentralization, are still alive in some corners of the digital world. You just have to know where to look. Radiant is more than a blockchain, it's a blueprint. A blueprint for building finance that doesn't exploit. A protocol that doesn't favor insiders. A system that anyone, anywhere can use not just to invest, but to create, to protect, and to participate. You don't need to trust its narrative. All you need to do is verify its blocks, its code, and its intent. Because when trust fails and institutions falter, code prevails, and Radiant is proof of that.